Let's start with the data structure today. So Saturday I will be taking data structure today. Tomorrow will be the React. From next week I will be taking React on Saturday and data structure on Sunday. Okay, there will be reverse thing from next week. I'll be taking the test for the sorting algorithm after I'm done with all the algorithms. Okay, so I will not take test today, but I will take test after I'm completing this whole chapter. Okay, so let's start. Last time we completed the merge sort, so this time we will do the quicksort. So how does the quicksort works? Let's go through the process and then we'll write the code. So if we have some array like 5, can you see my screen? Can you see quicksort? I've written quicksort on this. Okay, so let's say if I construct the array 5, 2, 1, 8, 4, 7, 6, and 3, we need to sort. We can sort with any of the methods which we have seen in briefly, but today we will focus on the quicksort. So I will tell you what is the idea behind the quicksort, and then we'll write the code for the quicksort. Now what we will do, we will take only the first number. We can take any number from anywhere, but let's take the first number. And we will position this first number at the appropriate place. Appropriate place means all the numbers below 5 will be on the left side and all the numbers above 5 will be on the right side. That is called the appropriate position. So we will take 5 and we will put at appropriate position. So let's put this 5 at appropriate position. How we will do, we will see in a bit, but let's understand the idea. So 2 is less than 5, so 2 should be here, 1 should be here, 4 should be here, 3 should be here. So we have 2, 1, 4, and 3 which are less than 5. So all should be on the left side of the 5. Okay, and all the elements above the 5 will be on the right side. So what are the elements above the 5? 1 is 8, 1 is 7, 1 is 6. Okay, so these are the elements above the 5. We will put it on the right side. So what we did, we took the one element and put it at the appropriate place. Appropriate place means all the elements below 5 should be on the left side and all the elements above 5 should be on the right side. So this 5 is called some, you can name it something, maybe X or Y or anything. But we will save the position. So what is the position? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4 is the position of the 5, and this 4 position is called the pivot point. So pivot point is 4 and the value of 8 value is 5. So this pivot point is this one, okay, where the 5 element is there. Now what we will do, once we got this pivot point, we will take the left side separately and the right side separately. So what is the left side? This is the left side. Okay, this is the left side. And what is the right side? Right side is this one. So what we did, we created the pivot point and then we divided the whole array into 2 parts, left side and the right side. Left side is this, right side is that. Now whatever procedure we did, we will do the same procedure for the left side. So the new array which we have to work is this one. And we will take right side also separate. So the new array which we have to work is right side is this one. Now again we will go with the same procedure we started here, like this one. So what we will do here, we will take the two element and put it in the appropriate place so that all the elements below 2 will be on the left side and all the elements above 2 will be on the right side. So the new array which will look will be 1 and 2 and 4 and 3. If you see, we are not sorting this element right now. We are just dividing, taking the pivot, and we will divide the right side and the left side. Okay. So again, when we get this 2, as a pivot point, then we have the left side and the right side. We will deal the left side separately and the right side separately. Now, since this is only the one element, so we don't need any more iteration. So the left side is this one and the right side is this one. This is again the left side and the right side is this one. Since this does not need any iteration, we will not do anything, but this right side we will again follow the same step which we did here. So what is the step? We will take 4 as a pivot point and we will put it at appropriate position. So what is the position of 4? 4 should be 3 and 4 will be the appropriate position. And yeah, so we get the right side and we put it in this format. Similarly, we will do it for this one, and we are go on doing the things on the left side and the right side. And once we finish the whole procedure, this whole array will become sorted. And remember that we are manipulating this original array. So the positions which we will assign will be assigned to the original array. So ultimately, when we are done with the function, this original array will be manipulated as a sorted array. Any questions in understanding the quicksort? Okay, let me go through it again. Let's go through it again and see how it goes. Okay, let's take smaller example so that we don't have much headache in completing it. Anyhow, if I take the large number also, it will be the same. So let's take some simple one, maybe. I'll take 3, 2, 9, 8, 4, 12. Okay, so let's take this one. So first we have to take the first point as a pivot point. This is the pivot point. So what is the pivot point? 3. So what we have to do, we have to put the 3 at the appropriate place. What is the appropriate place of 3? 3's appropriate place is here, and only one element is less than 3, that is 2. So we got the left side as 2 and the right side is this one, because all these elements are above 3. So we divide the left side and the right side. Left side is 2, which is one element, so we don't need any more iteration. And right side is this one. We will work on this one again. So here we will again take this as a pivot point. We will put it at appropriate place so that all the elements below 9 should be on the left side. So what are the elements below 9? 8 and 4 are below 9, and we have the 9 and we have 12. So all elements below 9 are on the left side and all the elements above 9 are on the right side. Again, we will divide into the left side and the right side. What is left side? 8 and 4. What is right side? 12. Since it is one element on the right side 12, it is at appropriate. We don't need more iteration for this one. But for this one, we'll again go through the process which we have seen here, 8 and 4. So here 8 is the pivot point, and we have to put it at appropriate place, and appropriate place is 4 and 8. All the elements less than 8 should be on the left side. Now we get this result. Now again, if we take this 4 element as a pivot, it has left side is not there. Left side is not there. Or we can take a 8 because 8 is a pivot point. Left side is 4, which is one element. We don't need more iteration. And the right side is nothing. So we don't need any more iteration for it. And ultimately, since we are manipulating this original array actually, though I am taking this part, since the manipulation is done on the original array, so whenever I will return the original array, it will be the sorted array. Is that clear? This is the idea. When we go to the program, we have to understand more how to do the things. The only thing you have to remember in this idea is we have to do recursive things. Recursive things, why? Every time we complete one step, we will get left side and the right side. And we have to do left side again, the same process, right side again with the same process. When we are done, go on doing, when we have the one element left, then that side is done and we will go on the other side. And on the other side also we will go on doing same thing till it gets sorted. Since we are manipulating the original array every time, when we are done with this all process, the original array is modified to the sorted array. Okay, so maybe it will become more clear when we do some more examples during the current workflow. Now I will do the program here to see whatever I showed you the idea, that is what we will be doing it. So this algorithm has two parts. One part to get the pivot point and put it at appropriate place. Like I got this 3 pivot point, I put it here at the appropriate place. That is, all the elements less than 3 should be on the left side, all the elements greater than 3 should be on the right side. So the first step is get the pivot point and put it at appropriate place. So part 1 is get the pivot point and move it to appropriate position such that all elements less than pivot point are on left side and all the elements greater than pivot point are on right side. So this is the first part. Then part 2 is, so from the part 1 we get the pivot point. Okay, so part 2 is take the pivot point which we got from part 1, which we get from part 1, and then divide the array into two parts, left side and right side. Take left side, process part 1 and 2 again. Take right side, process part 1 and 2 again. So what we will do? First thing is we need to get the pivot point and arrange so that all elements less than should be on the left side, greater than on the right side. And the second part is take the pivot point which we got from the part 1 and divide the whole array into two parts, left side and right side. Pass the left side again to the part 1 and do the same process, and then take the right side, pass that to the part 1 and do the same process again till we get something that is the one element is there, so that we cannot process more. Once we cannot process more, we will return the array, and that array will be sorted array. Okay, so this is the idea. If you are still unclear, we will do this in code. You will understand it in a better way. Okay, let's try one example with the coding which we will do. This is the pseudo code, not the real code. Real code I will write down in a minute. Okay, so let's take the array first. So for example, array is this one. Okay, so this is the array which we get it. Now we will go through these two things as I explained. So first I will concentrate only on the part 1, and then we'll go to part 2. Let's try to understand the part 1. So what it is saying, get the pivot point. So anytime when we get the array, we should take the pivot point as this one, the first element which we get. So what is the pivot point? What should be the pivot point value? I will say PP. Okay, pivot. I will say only pivot. Pivot is 28, correct. So let's keep this pivot. So whatever process I will do now, it has the pivot 28. Now we have to arrange this 28 so that 28, all elements below 28 should be on the left side. All the elements above 28 should be on the right side. That is what we are going to do it. So for that, this is the pivot point, that's the 28 number. Now what I will do, I will create one counter variable. Okay, don't worry about zero number. It is zero number. Always we will take the first element as a pivot. Now after arranging, whatever the value of pivot will be there, let's say 28 comes here. So we will take that as the main number. Okay. Now we are taking pivot as 28. This pivot is the number, the value 28. It's not a zero number. We are not saving index. We are not saving index because we need to compare this pivot with each element. Therefore, we are not saving the index here. When this 28 will be at appropriate position, then we will take the index. So when this 28 will be at appropriate position, then we will take the index, not now. You can take any element as the pivot, but you should have appropriate plan what you are taking. Either taking start, or you are taking the middle number, or you are taking the end number. Whatever number you want to take, you can take it. Okay, so you need to fix it, that what you want to take it. Either take the start number, or take the middle number, or a number, right, like that. So for the easy reference, we will take the first number. Okay, so this is a pivot. Okay, this is a just point. Now what we will do, we will keep one counter. Counter is 0. Okay. So we are taking one counter, and how the counter will be helpful, I will explain you in a bit. Okay, so let's take I will write down again pivot as 28 and the counter is 0. As I process, the value of counter will change, but pivot will not change. Pivot will 28 constant in this whole process. Okay. Now what we have to do, we have to start with this number and go till 80 number, and we have to check which elements are greater than 28 or less than 28. Like that we have to check. So let's say this is a 0 number. I took the 0 number already as a pivot. So we have to start with the 1 number. So let's say I will start with the 1 number, I equal to 1, I less than array dot length, I plus plus. Okay, so we have to go through for loop from the 1 number till the last number. So first condition is I equal to 1. What is the value of I equal to 1? 41. What is the value? What is the value of the I equal to 1? 41. Let's put it 41 here. Yeah, just write down. You don't have to remember everything now. Just try to understand what I am trying to do. And once I'm done with this, I will ask you to revise it again and again so that you can remember it. So value is 41. Now we have to check whether 28 is greater than 41. If 28 is greater than 41, that is what we are checking. If pivot is greater than array of I. Okay, 41 is nothing but array of I. This is in the coding language, this is in the numeric value. Is it greater or no? No. 28 is not greater than 41. That means 28 and 41 are at the appropriate position. Okay, so that means we don't have to do any change in these two numbers because both are at the right position. 41 is greater than 28, so we don't need to do anything for this one. So answer is no. 28 is not greater than 41. Answer is no. So do nothing. We don't have to do anything. Let's go to I number 2 now. Because we are using for loop, I for 1 is done. Now we'll go to I number 2, that is 2 number. What is the value for I equal to 2? What is the value for I equal to 2? 4. This is the 4. Now we will again check, is 28 greater than 4? That is if pivot is greater than array of I. Answer is yes. So we will do something. Okay, what we will do, I will show you what we have to do. So once the number is greater than 4, what we have to do, we have to increase the counter to 1. So first thing what we have to do, increase the counter to 1. And in the coding language, it will be counter plus plus. Okay, so this is the coding. This is the real value which we get it because we did plus plus. So we get the counter of 1. And now what we have to do, replace, what is the value of I? 2. Replace I 2 with counter. Counter is 1. Value of counter is 1. Value of I is 2. So what we have to do, we have to replace 2 with 1. So the new array will be, we have to replace 2 with 1. So 41 will go here and 4 will come here. Okay, we replace these two numbers. So what we have to do, if someone is greater than array 1. If pivot is greater than array I, we need to increase the counter and we have to do the replacement. And everyone knows how to replace it. We have a swap function to swap the things. So we are replacing I value with the counter value. These two things will happen whenever we have this as a true. Okay, now we have the new modified array like this. And I will be moved to 3. I will be moved to, here I is 2, I will be moved to 3. What will be the value now when I is moved to 3? 11. This is 3, 0, 1, 2 and 3. So value is 11. Now again I will compare if 28 is greater than 11. What is the answer? Yes or no? Yes. Since the answer is yes, we have to do this thing again. So what is the thing? We have to increase the counter. So counter will be 2. In the coding language, counter will be counter plus plus. And then we will replace the I with the counter. Okay, so let's do this replacement. Replace I is nothing 3 here, and the counter is nothing but 2. So I will modify the array. Modify the array, that is 3 with 2. So here 41, we will move 41 and here it will be 11. Okay, now let's go to another one, I equal to 4. And value will be, what will be the value? 16, correct, 16. Now we have to check again. If pivot 28 is greater than 16. Answer is yes or no? Yes. What we have to do? We have to increase the counter. So counter will be 3. And counter in coding it will be plus plus. And we have to call the replace statement again. But here replacement will be 4 with 3. So the new array will be, so 4 is this, it will be 3. So 41 will come here. And 16 will go here. Let's move I equal to 5. What will be the value? One, correct, 1. Value is 1. Now we have to check again. Answer is yes, right? Answer is yes. If yes is there, we have to follow these two again. If no is there, we will do nothing. So here I will say counter equal to 4 and this is in the coding, and we'll replace I 5 with counter 4. Okay, so what will be the new value of the array? New value of the array will be 5, that is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 with 41. So this will become 41 and this will become 1. Now let's move I to 6. What is the value of I to 6? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 40. Okay, we have the 40. Correct. 40 is correct. Okay. Now we have to check again. Is it true or false? Is 28 greater than 40? No. Answer is no. Since the answer is no, do nothing. Let's move to I7. What is the value of I7? It's 14. Now we have to do again this one. 28 greater than 14. Answer is yes. If answer is yes, I have to increase the counter. What was the previous value counter? 4. Now I have to increase the counter equal to 5. In coding language, it is counter plus plus. Okay, and then we will replace it. गिरा दिया. Okay, so we will do counter equal to 5, and that is counter plus plus, and we will replace again. So let's do replace. Here the I is 7, and we have to replace with the counter, that is 5. Okay, let's do that one here with the array. So what is 5? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 is this one. What is 7? 6, 7. So we will replace 14 with 41. So here I will write 14, and here I will write 41. Okay, so the new array is this one. Now let's go further. I equal to 8. Eight is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That is 36. Value is 36. Now we have to check if 28 is greater than 36. Answer is no. So do nothing. Then I equal to 9. Value is 37. Now we'll check if 28 is greater than 37. Answer is no. So do nothing. I equal to 10. Value equal to, what is 10? We got 37 and we got 42. Okay, now we will check if 28 is greater than 42. Answer is no. So do nothing. Let's go to I11. Value equal to 18. Now we will check if 28 is greater than 18. So answer is yes. So do again the same thing. What was the counter last time? Counter is 5. So we will add the counter equal to 6. Counter plus plus, and then we will replace it. So replace will be I is 11 with counter equal to 6. Okay, what will be the new array? New array will be 11 is this one, and 6 is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 40 will go here and 18 will go here. Okay, so this we are done with the I, because I is 11. Total there are 12 numbers, so I is 11 is the highest, and we are done with all this. Now we have, once we are done with all the elements, we have to do one last step. We have to replace this 28 with the 18 number. Okay, so what is this number is, we are taking starting as a 0 number as a pivot. So we are taking pivot value is 28, but index is 0. Always we take index 0 for the pivot, as I told you before. We are taking the pivot as the first element, that is the 0 number. So pivot value is 28, index is 0. We will move this 28 6 times because counter is 6. So I'll say 6 times, no, 8 to the 6 number index. So it is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we will take this 18, move it to 28, and we'll take 28, move it to 18. So we will call the swap function, which we already know, with 0 as the starting index and the last index. This is array. 0 is the starting index and the last index is the counter value, that is 6 number. So after we run this swap command, the new array which will be built is, here it will be 18 and 28 will move here. So this is the final array after this whole process which we go through, and you will see the pivot point is 28 and it has all the elements on the left side which are less than 28 and all the elements of the right side of the 28 which are greater than 28. We don't care about the sorting of this right side right now. We only have to care that 28 is at the correct position. And what is the correct position for 28? The correct position is all left side should be less than that and all right side should be greater than the 28. So this is the new array which we got, and we will return this pivot position, that is this counter. So after everything which we have done this, we will return the counter. So the counter is the number 6. We will return the 6. So this is the part 1 of the two parts. To complete this whole algorithm, we have 2 parts. We have completed part 1 now. Now let me write down the function for the part 1, and we will concentrate only on the part 1 for now. And after some time, once you are thorough with the part 1, we will go to the part 2. So what we did in the part 1, we passed the array, we created the pivot, we started the counter with 0. We go through each element of the array. Each element we check if the pivot is greater than particular element. If pivot is greater than particular element, we do something, and if it is not greater, we do nothing. What something we have to do? We have to increase the counter. We have to replace the I with the counter. This whole process will go on till we are done with all the elements. Once we are done with all elements, the final array looks like this one. After all the elements are done, we will do one more swap, that will be taking the starting position, moving it to the counter value, that is here. Once we move it to the counter value, our process is done and the pivot is at the appropriate position where all the elements on the left side are less than pivot and all the elements on the right side are greater than pivot. So this is the explanation of the part 1. Now let's write down the function which will do this whole process. Okay, let me write down the function now, and you see that function. Okay, so let's write down the function. Okay, let me write down in the console so we can run it. Okay, so I will say function. I will name the function as find pivot, and we will pass the array, and we will also pass the starting number and ending number. Since we need to manipulate this original array, and that is the reason we are passing the starting number and ending number. So if I create an array, let's create the same array, this one. Okay, this is the array. So let's say we have this array, and if I'm calling this function So in that function, array will be this array. Starting point is always 0. We have to start with the 0 number, and ending point will be this one. That is the array dot length -1. Okay. Because we have to pass the index. Index is overall length -1. That is the 11 number here. Is this point clear? Okay, so this part is clear. We are passing 0 here, and we are passing the ending number, that is this 18. That is the 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So this array length -1, that is 11. We are passing this here as 11. Okay, so this is the first step. We created the template of our function, just a sample function part. Now I will go on writing this function as I explained you there. So once we are in the function, we will create the pivot point. Okay, so pivot will be here, which will be the first number, that is this 28 number. So let's create a constant pivot equal to array of start. We always have to make the pivot as a starting number. So we will say pivot equal to array of the start, that is 28 number. And then second step will be, we will create one counter. So let's say counter will be initially equal to 0. It will be not 0, it will be the starting number. Okay, so the counter will be the starting number. Because if I put 0 and we are trying to manipulate on the right side, then 0 will be 28, which is on the left side. So we won't be able to do it. So counter should be actually the starting point. Because if we start with this point, this right side, let's say this part is already sorted. We want to do this part right side. So we should not pass the counter as 0. Because if I pass counter 0, it will start with the 0, which is out of our range. So the counter should be equal to starting number. Since we are starting with the 0 now, so the counter is now at the 0 number. Okay, so this is the two step which we did. We initialize the counter because we are moving the counter. It's not really the counter. This is the index which we are moving, and I cannot start with the 0 because we have to deal. I already explained we have to take left side and right side in the future. So once we take the right side, this counter 0 doesn't make sense. So we have to start with the start number, whatever is the start number is there. Okay, so just remember that it's not start with 0, it starts with the start number, whichever we are passing. Since here we are passing the whole array, so the starting number is 0. So the counter starts with the 0. Now we will go through this loop of all elements. Okay, loop through all elements of array. So whatever we are passing array, this array. Here I will say create first element as a pivot point value. So this is the value. Okay, start the counter with start number, not 0. But in this case it is 0 because we are passing 0 as. Okay, now we have to go through loop through. So if we want to loop through, I will use for let I equal to 0, not I equal to 0 because 0 is here. Already to start, we have to start with this number. Okay, we have to start with this one number. That is the start plus 1. Start plus 1. That is, we have to start with this number because this is already there. So we don't need to manipulate it again. I equal to array dot length. Since this array will be the whole array, always I will be passing. So if I put array dot length, then I will be going through all elements again and again. That means if I want to pass the right side, I will also go through all elements again. So this array dot length is not the right in this case. We have to put it I less than end number, whatever end number I call it. Okay, I less than equal to end number. Since I am passing here array length dot minus 1, so in the first case it will start with the 0 and go through till the end. But when we go to the second loop, third loop, we will be passing the part of this one. We will be passing the part. So we always have to take the end number. We cannot say array dot length, because if I put array dot length, it will take all elements again and again, even though I need to manipulate only this part. So that's the reason we are starting with the start plus 1, that is here till this point, and I will say I plus plus. Okay. So here I will say if first console.log I is I. What's the value of I? I am putting this console.log so that you can see I should look like this one and value should look like this one. So we will match with this manual step with this automatic step. So that's why I'm putting console I equal to this one. I will also put console on the pivot so we know what is the pivot point. Pivot is pivot. And what is the counter here? We will also put a counter. So we should see what is the counter here. So it will match exactly this one, pivot, counter, and then we say I, and then we have to say value. Okay, let's create the value also. So I will say const value equal to, value will be array of I. Okay, so in the first case it will be 41, then 4, 11, 16, 1, 40, 14, 15, whatever value will be there, it will be here. So let's put the value here in the console. Okay, so let's run this function and see how it goes, and then we will manipulate it more. Let me create a new file. It will be 005. This is called quicksort. Okay, I need to create folder. Let me run this function and see what we are getting now. Okay, so let's go through it. Pivot is 28, counter is 0. I equal to 1, we are getting 41, 4, 11, 16, 40, 14. We are getting all the values here. We are not manipulating right now, we are not doing anything, just printing all the elements here. Okay, let's write down the function again. This time, whenever I start the for loop, I will do some extra steps so that I know this is the division. Okay. Okay, now what is the end here? Here, let's take this example. End is this one. That is this 80 number. So it will go from start plus 1, that is 41 till 80. Okay, so end is nothing but this one. I pass this end here as a parameter. Okay, now what we have to do, we have to check if 28 is greater than value. So let's put that part. If 28 is nothing but this pivot. is greater than this value. If it is not greater than this, I do nothing. So I don't put any else statement. I don't have to touch anything. But if pivot 28 is greater than the value, then what we have to do? Let's check. We have to increase the counter. Let's increase the counter. Increase the counter value. And what we have to do, another thing, we have to do replacement of I with the counter. So to do the replacement, I will take the function which we already have written in the previous example. That is, for example, what is this, swap? Let's take this swap. We already created this swap function. Okay, so once we have to do increase in the counter, and then we have to swap. Swap I with counter value. So it will be, I will call the swap. I will pass the array, and then I will pass the counter value, and I will pass the I value. I can put I here also. It doesn't make a difference. I can put I here, counter here, or I can put counter here, I here. It's one and the same thing. Both will be swapped. Okay, so we swap the number, and after swapping, I will check what is the array. Let's after swapping, what is value of array? I will put array here, and after we are done with this I told you in the last step also we need to do the one swapping. After we are done, we have to replace the starting number with the counter number. So we have to do one more swap. After completion of the for loop, one more swap of counter number with starting number. So here will be another swap, array counter number with starting number, right? And after this, I will print the final value of the R. Final value of array, and we will return, since this array is by reference, so we don't need to return the array. Array will automatically be updated because it is by reference. We need to just return this counter value because we need the pointer pivot number. Though the value of pivot is this one, but we need to pass the pivot number, that is index. So I will return counter. Okay. So if I do console.log of this one, it should give me this console.log. It should give me the pivot number, or I can also move this to another line. Final number is equal to. Okay. So before I run, is this function clear with you, or do you have any doubt, any questions? I will rename the variable, okay, because I am passing this array with this variable. I don't want to confuse with global with this particular, though both have the same value because it passed by reference. I will name it as my. So end is initialized, right? End is here. Yeah, my array. See, end is the my array dot length. This is the my array. End is this one. Any doubt in this function? Okay, let me go through it again. We create the pivot, which is the starting number of the array. Then we start the counter. Counter is nothing but it start with the start, whatever the start value I pass. Then we go through start plus 1, that is 41 till end. I pass end here. I don't say array dot length because I told you the reason. We may pass only this part, so we need the end value which is passed here. Then we compare the pivot with the value, and if pivot is greater than the value, we increase the counter. We swap the counter with the I, and we go to another element. And like this, we complete the all for loop. And once we are done with the for loop, we take the counter value and we replace it with the start number, whatever start number we have passed it, as I explained previously while we were doing manually. And this is the final value of the array. We will run this and we will go through again and compare with this manual process which we did previously. Okay, let me run it. Okay, so I'm done with this. So it's saying pivot 28. Let's compare this with this one. Okay, so it's saying pivot 28 and the counter is 0. I is 1, value is 41. Is 28 greater than 41? Nothing. So we do nothing. Let's go to the 2 number. I is 2, value is 4. Is 28 greater than value 4? Yes. So we will do something. We'll increase the counter and we'll replace it. So after swapping, we didn't print the counter again here, which I will do in a minute. So we will replace the I with the counter value. Okay, so let's put the counter value also in this before we run it again, because we increase the counter and we are swapping it. So let's see what we are swapping it. Counter is now counter. Okay, so I want to see the counter. What is the counter? And we are swapping with I, that is whatever I it is. Okay, let's run it again. Okay, now we will see. Okay, initially I is 141, so we do nothing. Then I becomes 2 and value is 4. Now the counter is 1 and we are replacing with I equal to 2, I2. So that means we are replacing 41 with 4. So this is 4 and 41, we replace it. Then I became 3, value is 11. Is 28 greater than 11? Yes. So the counter become 2 and I is 3. We are replacing both. So the value is now 11 is replaced with the 41. So we are replacing this one. Then let's go to the I equal to 4. Counter will become 3, I is 4. Okay, I is 4 and counter is 3. So we are replacing 4 with 3. So 16 and 41 is replaced. And then we go to 5. 28 is greater than 1. we again replace 4 with 5. So it will be 1 and 41. Then we are replacing 14 with 41. Okay, then we are replacing this all is we do nothing, and in the final we're replacing 18 with 40. And the final value is 6. Once final value is 6, so we are replacing 28 with the 6th number 0, 1, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 18 comes here and 28 goes here. So this is the final version of the array where 28 less than 28 is all smaller and greater than 28 is all bigger. And we return the 6th number because we need to pass this number, which number is set perfectly. So this 28 number is set perfectly, all other numbers are not set perfectly. So we return the 6th number. That 6th number is done. We are done with the 6th number. It is at the appropriate place. Okay, so we get this one. So before we go further, you should write down this function, and once you write down this function and try to memorize it 4 or 5 times. So once you write it, read it 4 to 5 times. Okay, after you read it and let me know, I will go further. Hello, is it done? Okay. So my suggestion is you write down this function by looking one time after the class and without looking one time. Do it again by looking one time, without looking one time, with looking one time, without looking one time. Like this you do 10 times, so that this function should be remembered to you whenever it comes in interview process. Regarding the real project, we did merge sort, we did bubble sort, we did insertion sort, we did selection sort. So practically you are free to use any sorting algorithm in your practical project. But merge sort is the number one used in the practical projects. And these all others are, one thing is you will get the idea of how to do the quick sort. That's why we are doing it. Or in interview, if someone is asking how to do the quick sort. In real project, people don't prefer the quick sort. They use merge sort. But you should know everything, whatever you are doing, you should know that, because in interview they can ask anything. Okay, so all the data structure, important is merge sort or bubble sort. These two are the most important sorting algorithm. Otherwise, all these things we are learning for the interview purpose. Okay, now after the first process, we get the value number 6, and we have this array. Okay. Yes, merge sort for people use for smaller array also, but if it is the bigger array, you cannot use bubble sort, so you have to use the merge sort. Okay, so the final version of the array is this one. So we see this is the array. If I type array, so yeah, so this one is the original array kind of thing, but because this one was previously done, so if I type my array, you will see the result of correct one. Okay, so this is the my array because last time we used the variable name my array, which is modified to this new one. So this my array has been modified to this version. Now we need to, so the part 1 is done. Now we will concentrate on the part 2. Part 2 means once we are done with the first pivot point, and the pivot point is number, so we will take 6 number 0. Okay, let me count. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6 number is pivot point 28, and above that is another array which is greater, all the elements greater than 28, and below 28 all elements are less than 28. So now I will call this function again. I will call this function again. But what I will do now, I will process only the left side. What is this left side? This is the left side. We are not talking about the right side. Let's see what is the pivot for the left side. So if I want to process left side, what should I pass as the starting number? This array will be same, my array, but what should be the starting number if I want to pass the left side? $18 is the number, but we need to pass the index. Like here we are passing the index. There is no counter here. Counter was inside the function, right? So we don't have the counter value. Okay, we don't want to delete the array. This whole array will be manipulated, so we don't need to use a slice. 0, correct. Since we need to process this left side, the starting number will be 0. And what will be the ending number? Counter is not outside the function. Counter is inside the function. So I cannot use the counter outside the function. We are now outside the function. We have the pivot point 6. which is this 6. So we need to pass, we need to manipulate this so that it should be the ending number. What should I pass? I is inside the function. We don't have access to I. Now we are outside the function. We got the 6 number back from the function. The 6 number is the back, that is the index of this 28. Now we want to pass this number, not the 28, because 28 is at the correct position. We need to pass this one. Pivot minus 1, correct. Whatever we get this one, what we got, pivot final number. So this one will be pivot final number minus 1. Because we got a 6 number, we need to pass the left side. So we need to pass till 14. 14 is nothing but 5. That is the pivot number which we got here, minus 1. Before we run this one, let's confirm what is the pivot number. It is 6. So we need to pass 5. That is pivot number minus 1. And let's save this as another variable, pivot number 1. Okay, now I will run it again. So here I am running it again. So it is passing 18 till 14. And pivot is 18 now. Previously it was 28, now it is 18. Counter is 0, it starts with the 0. Now we go through each number again. So 18, this is only concentrate up till this 14 number, because we are not dealing with this last number. So here 18 and 4. 18 is greater, this 4. Let's talk about 4. Forget about 18 because we have to start with the one number. 4 is not greater than 11, so 4 will remain here. 4 will remain here. 4, 11, 1, 14. And then in the last we get 4, 11, 16, 1, 14. Because all these numbers are actually less than 18. So we have same order. We are not changing the order. And in the final version, this 14 is replaced with the 18. So on the left side of 28, we get the proper addressing, and now 18 is at the correct position. Can you see? 18 is at the correct position now, because from the left side 18 is the pivot number, 18 is the pivot point. So we are moving the 18 to the proper position. After the second point, this 18 will be at the proper position, rest all will be on the left side of it. Now let's go to the right side of this one. We get this array. We are done with the left side one time, though we have to go more on the left side, but let's go to the right side now. So to go the right side, what should I pass as 0 instead of 0, starting number? We have to go to the right side of the 28. So what will be the starting number? It will be not the pivot. Pivot is the 6 number, pivot number. We have to go one number plus to that. Okay, we have to go one number plus to that one, because we have to start with this one. So what is the pivot number? Plus 1. We have to start with plus 1. We don't want to start with 28. 28 is at correct position. We don't want to touch 28 now. We have to start with this one. This is 6 number. We have to start with the 7 number. So pivot final number plus 1. And what will be the end position? End position is this one. That is nothing but this what you call as myArray.length -1. Okay, so this is the inning position. And let's run this again now. So once I run here, you will see 41 is the starting number now. So this is the pivot point, and we will see 41 is at the correct spot. After everything is done, 41 is at the correct spot. 42 is above 41, and these all numbers are less than 41. But these are not sorted because we only care about a pivot point. Rest of the should be less than it, not necessarily ascending or descending. So 28 is at correct spot, 41 is at correct spot. These three are not at correct spot. So like this, we need to, once we get this value, we have to go again and again recursively till everything is sorted. So we will write down the function now to do the recursive function of it. Okay, so let's write down the recursive function for it. I will create a function called as quicksort. I will pass the array, and then here I will pass the left number and the right number. This is the index, left index and the right index. Okay. So initially I will pass left index as 0 and the right index will be the array.length -1. Then we will manipulate it later. So once we are going inside this quicksort, we have to check. So the thing is that there is a base condition. We need to put the base condition. If that condition, if we don't follow that condition, then it will go to recursively. There will be infinite call to that, and I will write down the condition here in 1 minute. So first thing is I will call the pivot, let's say constant pivot index number. So first thing is we need to call the pivot index number, and here I will say find pivot. In the pivot I need to pass the array. So this is the array, and then I need to pass the left side. This is the left side, and I need to pass the right side. Right now I will just pass this one and see what is the value of pivot in the first case. Okay, so let's copy this. So what I will do, I will pass some array to this function. So let's create var myArray. I will create a new array now. 4, 8, 2, 1, 5, 7, 6, 3. Okay, let's create this new array. And I will call this function with array will be nothing but myArray. And the starting number left side, initially the left side will be 0. And the right side will be this one, that is myArray.length -1. This will be the starting one. Now once I run this, it will go to the pivot index number, and it will give me the what is the index number. So 4 is the value. Initially, this is the initial array 4, and it will sort that all numbers less than 4 will be on the left side, right, more than 4 will be on the right side. I will also see what is the value of array after everything is done. Okay, after first pass, this is the first pass. Remember, it will only set the value of 4, nothing else. Okay, so once everything is done, you will see pivot is 3 and the array is this one, 3, 2, 1, 4, 5, 6, 7. You will see the 4 is at the correct spot, because when I am passing, 4 is the starting number and 4 is at the correct space. All others are less than that, and this is the greater than that. And pivot is 3. So next time if I want to pass, I will pass left side separately and the right side separately. So this is the left side. Let's talk about the left side. I will copy this function again. So once I get this pivot number, that is 3 number, I need to again call this quicksort with the left side and the right side. So let's pass the left side first. So here I will say left side. Let's talk about the left side. So to call the left side, I will call this quicksort again. And array will be same because we are manipulating the original array. So can you tell me what will be the left index and the right index for the left side? We got this one. And this is the pivot index number, that is 3. What should I pass here as a left side? I want variable name. Now there is nothing to. What should I pass here as a left side? Because we have only these 3, 3, 2, 1. Because 4 is at the correct spot after the first round. This is the first round. After first round, 4 is at the correct spot. This is the left side and this is the right side. What should I pass for the left index? 1 is this one. That means you are ignoring 3. 0. We have to pass 0 because we need to pass 0, 1 and 2. So 0 will be 1. So left side will be nothing but the same left side which we are getting it here. Because here we are already passing 0. Okay, so we cannot say 0, we have to say the left side. Whatever left side we get, it is the same left side. Okay, and what will be the right side? So in this 3 part, what is the right side? Pivot minus 1, correct. We have to always, this is at the correct spot, we have to pass pivot minus 1. So I will say pivot index number minus 1. So this is, we have taken care of this left side. Now let's take care of this right side. So here again I will call the quicksort. Now what will be the left side for this right part? What will be the left index for this right side? Pivot plus 1, correct. So it is the pivot plus 1. And what will be the right side, this right index for this right side? Array.length will not work. There is no end here. You have to work with this variable. Did I create end here? End was in the final pivot, find pivot 1. So what should I pass here? We have to start with this, end with this one. Okay, so consider only this case only. Don't consider for other cases right now. Alright, other cases will automatically come into the picture. So we are starting, this is the pivot, we are starting with pivot plus 1, which is correct. That is the left side, and the end number is nothing but this right number which we are passing. Because this is the number, end number we want. This is right number which we are passing. Now, but if I run this, it will go into the infinite loop because we had not taken, whenever we call the recursive function, that is the same function inside the function, we need to take care of some condition based on which this will not go inside this part. So once we get the pivot index, or once we go inside the function, we need to take care of one condition. That condition will be, you cannot go further, because if I run this, it will go infinite loop and pass this one and this one. It will never end. So let's think on the condition which we have. So we get this 4 number. We pass this as the left and this is the right. Okay, so then 3 number will be placed here, and then we will get only 2 number. Then in the 2 number, this will be the left side and this will be the right side. Okay, so then 2 and 1 will be at exact position. So finally I will pass the left number and I will not pass the right number. Okay, finally I will pass the left number, I will not pass the right number. So condition here is if left number is less than right number should always be greater than left number, because left number start with the 0, 1, 2, 3 index kind of thing. Right number is always greater than. At some point, right number will not be there. We will be getting the left number only. So the condition which here will work here is left should be less than right. And if we are passing somehow only left number, then left is not less than right. And if we are passing only right number, I'm not sure if we get only right number, but it will be either of them will not be the correct undefined, or something will be there. So, but we need to check that left and right should be like this. Left is less than right, and then only we need to process it. And if we don't have left less than right, because always we will be passing left and right will be there, but left number if is not less than right, then we should not go inside it. Okay, so that will be the condition for us. And now if I run this, it will go inside quicksort. It will go with left and right. Then again it will go inside inside it. Again it will go left and right. And again it will go left and right. It will go inside all the elements till everything is completed. And ultimately we will not get left and right at some point. So it will not go inside, and it will complete this function. And that is what we need to see. Okay, and when we are done with this one, we will return this array. Okay, so even if we don't return this array, it does not make sense to return an array, because this array is by reference. So even if I don't return it, it is okay for it. Okay, so we don't need to actually return it anything. Let's check this. After this, we will see the value of my R. Let me copy this function. Okay, let's try now this one. Okay, so once I run this one, if we go through each one, this is so bigger, but I have explained everything to you, what things are happening, how things are happening. So ultimately we need to see the final value is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All is sorted ultimately here in this final array. Okay, only thing is this condition left and right. Let's try to see what we get in each case so that we can see what's happening. Okay, I will also put that function so without the console statement so that we should not get so many console statements. So let me delete all the console statement in the previous one. This is my find pivot. This is one. Every time checking what is the array, what is the left side going and what is the right side going, and what is the pivot coming here. Okay. Yes. And every time we call this function, I will put this statement. And here I will check what is the left side going. It will go so many loops, so we may not see properly. Let's put it then also with new left is left. I'm putting this left, then I'm putting this one. So I'll name this as 1. 1 is nothing but this part. This part I will name it as 2. To see what is 2 is this, and then I will put this as a 3 number. And 4. 4 is nothing but this one. So once I get this pivot number, I want to pass these two. Before processing these two, I will check what is the pivot, what is the new left, that is this one, and what is the new right, and what is this new left, and what is this new right. Since this will go recursively, so it will go inside it multiple times. Let's try to take simple 3-digit number and see what happens. Okay, let's put this one and see what is happening. I will copy this whole so that I should have one copy. Okay, we are just going through each step to see what's happening. Okay, so I started with only 3-digit number. So we are going first time here in the quicksort. Array is all these 3-digit, with left is 0 and right is 2. Now the pivot is 2. With the new one, that is this one is 0, and pivot minus 1 is 1. That is 2 minus 1. This one is 3. And this right is 2. Okay. So now again it processes the quicksort. With array is this one. Left is 0 and right is 1. Because we are processing the left side of this one. Okay, so we are processing the left side of this one. So now the left is again 0. This left is 0. Right is this 2 number, that is this one. Since pivot is 0, so this one becomes minus 1. and 3 number, that is this one, is becoming 1 because pivot is 0, and 4 number, that is this right, is 1, because when we are processing this, we are processing the left side of this one, that is 1 and 2, so the right number is 1, that is this one. Then we go again with these two number. In these two number you will see left is 0 and right is -1. That means left is not less than right. Here left is not less than right. So we don't do anything. We just display this part. And next time we are processing left as 1 and right as 1. Here also left is not less than 1. Both are equal, so we don't process anything. This time on the right side, we are seeing left is 3 because you will see this is a 3 and the right side is 2. Here also left is not less than right, so we don't do anything. We don't process anything here. And the final array comes as 1, 2, 3. So if you go through this, since it is going recursively, so it is little complex to see each case kind of thing, but overall you got the idea that what we are doing, which I explained already, that first we take the pivot point, we get the pivot point, and then we divide into left and right. Then we process left side similarly, right side similarly. Then we go again left side, right side, left side, right side. In each case we go left side, right side till we are done with this, that till we get left less than right side. Once we are done with this one, the final my array is the ascending order. Got it? So before we go further, just write down this function, this one, and this example, and then we're done with this one. Once you complete this, just go through it a couple of times to understand what we have written it here. Okay, so go through this function again and again. If you have any question, you can ask me now or tomorrow, and just remember this one. Okay, this is for the interview purpose only. Real practical world, you may very less like use it. Now the complexity of this one. So generally, this quick sort goes to n log n, but in extreme cases, in worst cases, in some of the worst cases, the complexity is O(n) square like bubble sort. But in 99% of cases, it is n log n, because you know, you have seen in we are taking one element, putting it at appropriate position. So in some cases, it will take 2 times, that is n square time, to reach the proper position. So the real complexity is O(n) square, but those cases are very rare. So people consider the complexity as n log n. So in interview, you can say that generally the complexity of quicksort is n log n, but in very extreme cases, it is n square. So just remember, this is only, you know, 1 line, 2 line, 3 line. 3 line of the code for the quicksort. Just remember, just check left and right, and not 3 line, 4 line, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 line of the code for the quicksort. You have to check left and right, get the pivot number, and call quicksort again. So 4 lines of the code only. Remove all console.log in your learning curve. And in this find pivot, 1 line, 2 line, 3 line, 4 line, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 lines of the code. This is little bit more lines, but easy to understand. This is also easy to understand, but only few lines of the code. So go through the video also again and again to understand this again. But the simple stuff I explained you in the beginning, that is the whole idea. You have to remember that idea. Any questions? And this I will commit it. Okay, this part I will commit it. The React project I have not committed because I want everyone to do in the class. Because what happened, you know, many people just they wait till the project is complete and they will take my code and they will use it without understanding it. So that I don't want. So in the React part, I will not commit the code, but this one I will add it so you can get it. Take the taste of React. Okay, I will do that surely. Right, sure, definitely. React will be tomorrow will be the continuation of our project which we are doing it, but I will from next week onwards I will also make sure I will do some part and I will take test of that part. So the React is a lot of things have been done in the React and maybe you forget most things. So from next week I will plan so that I can take some test in the React also. Tomorrow I will tell you what you should prepare for the next week test. So every week I will take small test on the React so that you be prepared in the React also. So tomorrow I'll tell you what you should prepare for the next week. Okay, what is the question? What is different between the use fake, use callback and use memo? Okay, so I I already explained this use effect, use callback, use memo when I was doing this. But since that was in different lecture, so you may not be able to differentiate properly. So tomorrow I will tell you again what is the difference between all these three things: use effect, use callback, use memo. So tomorrow ask me the same question. Okay, I will explain you because it will take a little bit time. Now I'm done with today's class. Tomorrow I will tell you again what is the difference between these three. Okay, so tomorrow I will explain you with example, some example where to apply each one. Okay, generally use memo is not used kind of thing. So I will tell you what is use memo, but don't use it much because we don't have any use case. I don't see any use case in practical, but you should know what is the meaning. Okay, I use memo, react.memo, that is different thing. Okay, let's talk that tomorrow.